younger generation, as they have the same rights to continue their education to a higher level. Growing in knowledge, enhancing good character, and to have a brighter future. Universitas Terbuka is established to make the dreams of young men and women from all corners of the country come true through the distance higher education system to meet the ever-changing demands of industrial and technological development in the 21st century.
Dengan diresmikannya Universitas Terbuka.
Universitas Terbuka is a pioneer of world-quality distance higher education, which is supported by professional lecturers who are experienced in their own field of expertise. Universitas Terbuka has also made numerous innovations to solve current educational challenges by applying a digital learning ecosystem to build capable and quality future leaders.
Hampir 4 dasawarsa UT mengabdi untuk bangsa. Universitas Terbuka mewujudkan pendidikan tinggi untuk semua.
With the long experience of carrying out our mission of providing equal access to higher education for everyone in Indonesia, Universitas Terbuka has proven to be a trusted public higher education institution. Our graduates have successfully applied their knowledge into their chosen career fields as either professionals or entrepreneurs. As of 2022, UT has a student body of just over 350,000. As a cyber university who teaches and applies the latest technology, Universitas Terbuka has 4 faculties, including the Faculty of Economics, the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, the Faculty of Science and Technology, and the Faculty of Education and Teacher Training. As a successful distance higher education institution, UT has received various awards and achievements. For instance, the rector of Universitas Terbuka, Professor Ojat was elected by acclamation as the president of Asian Association of Open Universities for the period of 2020 to 2022. Time and time again, UT continues to make important innovations by using the most advanced communication technology and information available in each of its programs. Through the implementation of lifelong learning, UT also provides certificate programs and tuition-free programs such as open educational resources, as well as free lectures to be accessed by everyone. Limitation is not a hindrance for people to continue their education to a higher level, because education is a fundamental human right for everyone that can be accessed easily. This is Universitas Terbuka, always thinking forward, always open to diversity.
Pendidikan tinggi bagi semua anak negeri.
Universitas Terbuka menjangkau yang tidak terjangkau.
The fast-growing demands of digital era motivates us to continue improving the potential of integrated human resources that are capable to support productivity. This vast and rapid development needs an effective and modern learning solution that can keep up with the routines of today's society. A facility that can cope with the limitations of space and time. For many people, both limitations pose as major problems in developing themselves and enhancing their career in digital era. In the end, those problems will impact their lifestyle. Universitas Terbuka is here to answer those problems by applying an open and distance learning system. A system that has proven effective in increasing the coverage and equal distribution of excellent higher education for all elements of society. Our learning system. Our system allows students to have a flexible and open learning method, and it offers many advantages. first one is the registration period, which is open throughout the year, so no more worry about late registration. Flexible space, time, and place. This is useful for students who still want to develop their knowledge wherever and whenever they want. Easily access printed and digital teaching materials in all corners of Indonesia and other countries. Our system gives opportunity to people from all groups and ages to learn and develop their knowledge, as well as their skills in all fields. With 39 regional offices all across Indonesia and overseas service centers, we are always ready to support operational activities and cooperations with various national and international institutions. We have numerous facilities to support student activities and learning process, from UT Radio, UT TV, learning assistance to online library. Universitas Terbuka offers you 4 credible faculties: Faculty of Education and Teacher Training, Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Faculty of Economics, and Faculty of Science and Technology. With more than 35 study programs and postgraduate programs. Universitas Terbuka, making higher education open to all.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Terbuka, Professor Ojat M.Bus Ph.D. Today is represented by the Vice Rector for Research, Innovations, Cooperation, and Business, Pak Rahmat Budiman, Ph.D. The Honorable Muhammad Gifari from Korika and GovTech Edu. The Honorable Jack Brazel, the Area Director of Southeast Asia Turnitin. And the Honorable Professor Wisnu Jatmiko from University of Indonesia, and also all the participants of today's webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to you all, and praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessings so we can attend this event. I'm Antares Firman, and it is my pleasure to be a moderator for this webinar. And today, on Thursday, the 10th of August, 2023, Universitas Terbuka is proudly present the 32nd Knowledge Sharing Forum, Universitas Terbuka, with the themes, the utilizations of ChatGPT and its implication for education. Knowledge Sharing Forum Universitas Terbuka 2023 is a forum for sharing knowledge and experiences on good practice that UT regularly organize. And it is an honor for our university because the 32nd Knowledge Sharing Forum was attended by very extraordinary speakers. And the speakers will share their knowledge and experience on how to upgrade our knowledge and skills with the utilizations of ChatGPT and its implications for education. And the audience for the 32nd KSF UT is including students, educators, practitioners, observers, as well as the public citizens. And the participants are not only from Indonesia, but they are also international participants in this forum. The media for our today's webinar is in Zoom meeting. Video and speaker access is only granted to moderator and speakers, while participants can only listen. Participants can also join this webinar from UT YouTube channel through the link /sl.ut.ac.id/streaming KSF. Again, sl.ut.ac.id/streaming KSF. Participants can ask questions to the speakers through the Zoom meeting chat menu or Q&A feature. The moderator will present the selected questions to the speakers for the response. And don't forget to write down your name and institutions and to whom your questions will be addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, to always develop the spirit of nationalism and patriotism, first let us sing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Thank you very much. Dear audience, we will start the webinar by listening to the welcome speech by the Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Cooperation and Business. Please welcome Pak Rahmat Budiman, Ph.D.
Thank you, Pak Antares. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning from Jakarta, Indonesia. Before I read remarks, please allow me to convey the Rector of Universitas Terbuka's warmest greeting to all speakers and all participants attending the 32nd Knowledge Sharing Forum. Unfortunately, our Rector, Professor Ojat, is not able to join as he is traveling to our regional office in Sulawesi. I hope that my speech will be representing his willingness to welcome all of you. I would like to thank you, the speakers, Mr. Jack Brazel from the Ternithin Area Director of Southeast Asia, Bapak Muhammad Gifari from Government Teknologi Education Telkom Indonesia. Terima kasih Bapak. And Professor Dr. Engineer Wisnu Jatmiko S.D. M.Kom from University of Indonesia. And also to our moderator, Bapak Antares Firman, S.A. M.Prof. from Universitas Terbuka. And also our participants, on behalf of Universitas Terbuka, I would like to express my warmest gratitude for your participation in this webinar. It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the 32nd Knowledge Sharing Forum, or KSF Universitas Terbuka. Ladies and gentlemen, in such a rapid development of technology, artificial intelligence, or AI, has emerged as a tool that has the potential to change various industries. One prominent application of AI is ChatGPT, an advanced language model developed by OpenAI. ChatGPT leverages deep learning technique to be able to provide intelligent responses and generate human-like text. The applications of ChatGPT in education are enormous, as it opens up new avenues for personalized learning, as well as better collaboration and learning experience. On the other hand, the presence of ChatGPT raises anxiety and worry for academics, since it will limit the development of critical and independent thinking skills and cause inability in deep learning. Bapak Ibu sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, Universitas Terbuka, as a pioneer of open and distance education in Indonesia, along with technological advances, has transformed into a cyber university. The transformation into a cyber university is part of Universitas Terbuka's efforts to increase access to education as widely as possible for the community. As one of the efforts to accelerate the increase in the gross enrollment rate of higher education and to meet the various educational needs of the community, UT, Universitas Terbuka, offer information technology-based program. Therefore, in this era, the digital information and technology transformation, the open and distance learning method that has been used by UT must face the challenges of continuing to position itself as the pioneer of open and distance education in Indonesia. Moreover, as a state university that offers a distant learning system with the number of active students reaching more than 400,000 students, will certainly be affected by the presence of ChatGPT. With a large number of students spreading throughout in Indonesia and abroad, UT holds the responsibility of utilizing technology in the learning process and minimizing the risk that may arise from technology, especially ChatGPT. Therefore, in the commemoration of Universitas Terbuka 39th anniversary, and in order to improve the quality of learning and academic services and explore the potential of ChatGPT for education, Universitas Terbuka organizes the 32nd series of knowledge sharing forum virtually with the topic of utilizing the ChatGPT and its implication for education. I hope this webinar will facilitate a very constructive exchange of knowledge for all attenders, for all participants. And once again, for all Universitas Terbuka's staff, please prepare paper and pencil for questions, for raising the question to our valuable speakers. Thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bapak Rahmat Budiman, for a very insightful welcoming speech. And before we start listening to our speakers, we will have a photo session together. And to all the participants, you may open or turn on your camera. Okay, so I will give sign 1, 2, and 3. Big smile. Okay, thank you very much. It is such an honor for UT, Universitas Terbuka, because in today's forum, we will be listening to discussions with extraordinary speakers. We have Bapak Muhammad Gifari from the Korika and GovTech Edu, and Jack Brazil, the Area Director of Southeast Asia Turnitin, and Professor Dr. Engineering Wisnu Jatmiko M.Kom from University of Indonesia. Next, we will be listening to Muhammad Gifari from the Korika and GovTech Edu, who has already joined us today. And thank you and welcome to the 32nd KSF UT. Pak, it's a great honor that you can share your expertise with us today. And let us use our valuable time to listen to the presentation and discuss with Pak Muhammad Gifari for around like 30 minutes. And before we welcome Pak Muhammad Gifari, I will read his CV. Muhammad Gifari, Ph.D. from the Korika and Government Tech Edu, earned a Ph.D. in Computer Science from Victoria University of Wellington, focusing on artificial intelligence through the Victoria Doctoral Scholarship. He is actively involved in AI research, writing papers, and reviewing for top conferences and journals in AI, such as TPA-MI, ICML, ECCF, and NUR-ITS. He is currently the head of engineering at GovTech Edu under Telkom Indonesia. He leads the development of Campus Merdeka. He also holds the positions of Senate member at Korika. And previously, he was the senior vice president of digital banking at Bank Rakyat Indonesia, overseeing digital transformations. Gifari also led AI R&D at Bukalapak, developing AI solutions for customer experience, recommendation systems, cybersecurity, and more. And he also contributed to significant movie project as an AI researcher at Weta Digital in New Zealand, known for films like Lord of the Rings. Gifari is credited with inventing the facial deep learning solver system. Please welcome Pak Muhammad Gifari. Pak Muhammad Gifari, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the generous introduction, Pak Antares. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here in this forum. Thank you for the invitation from Universitas Terbuka, especially to Pak Rahmat Budiman on behalf of Pak Rektor Professor Ojat Darojat for the invitation. So yeah, I would like to share a bit in the next about 20 minutes regarding perhaps the recent trend about generative AI, especially, and especially starting from the fundamental idea about generative AI, including how it's different from the conventional AI that we know before, and including the capabilities that generative AI can offer compared to the previous technology. So I would like to share my screen, and in the same time, would like to check whether the audience here can see my screen. Pak Antares?
Yes, Pak Givari.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as Pak Antares mentioned before, I now working with GovTech Edu, and which is the digital development team working for Ministry of Education, Research and Technology, and currently leading the development of Campus Merdeka platform at the moment, and which probably you already might know, and even there's a logo there in the this event basically. And also we are also just about to release, and I think for the lecture fellows here in the university, or might already familiar with the platform that we're gonna release the new version, which is the Sistem Terintegrasi, that actually kind of helping or supporting all the lecturers folks here to administer and manage all the career-related lectures matters in Indonesia, basically. And yeah, previously I was an academic research pursuing my PhD in artificial intelligence with intersection computer vision, computer graphics sort of stuff, and also have some experience in industrial domains, just Pak Antares mentioned. So I think I would like to start with kind of the recent perspective regarding AI. And I think firstly, as we all might already familiar with, AI is all about the theory and development of computer systems that actually perform tasks that normally requires human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, learning sort of stuff. And it's actually not really an entire new field, so to speak, in a way that it's being formalized as a subfield in computer vision since probably in the middle of 20th century, like 1950s, and it's already growing into several areas or sub areas. Starting from the computer vision, knowledge-based system, robotics, natural processing, and so on, basically. So it's a quite rich area at the moment, and it keeps growing, and especially during the past 10 years, it's actually growing exponentially. Yeah, thanks to the convergence of machine learning, especially deep learning, big data, and also the emergence of more advanced computational power that now become probably the cause or probably the reason why the growth of the AI development and providing values to us is actually move forward in the quite staggering phase basically. And here is actually I would like to highlight that there is also a shift in terms of the software development that actually requires AI from like deductive science into more empirical science. When we have a lot of data, we start making the hypothesis, collecting data, do the modeling, and evaluate whether our model is actually good enough or still not good, for example, and analyzing the result. And if we still not satisfied with the result, and we repeat correcting our hypothesis and repeat the experiment, stuff like that, right? And by doing so, this is just like the simple example that we refer to as supervised learning. Let's say we have big data of the input of the emails and the output of whether this email is spam or not, and it becomes an application of spam filtering, for example. Or in the banking, another example, we have customer information as the input, and we have whether this loan is approved or not, and it could become credit scoring, stuff like that. So I think by collecting the data and do some kind of modeling, and we do this as kind of like the experimental science project, and then make some useful application in the market. And to simplify basically the thinking framework regarding the utilities of AI, I think I would like to highlight three benefits or three utilities that AI could offer. First is on the area of improving our cognitive insight. I think this is actually like already becoming mainstream. I think for all of us that any kind of pattern discovery, or probably providing some kind of prediction can help us to make decision making more accurately and quickly, basically. And this is actually the first value. And the second one is if we already know exactly the existing process that we would like to optimize, AI can help to automate the internal process, so it can actually pursue or encourage process automation in a better way. And thirdly, it's all about how to make better product that probably haven't been available before without AI. And this is actually related to the with product that actually being embedded with AI can help us to improve our cognitive while engaging with the product, to perform a specific task. And yeah, before the generative AI era, I would say, I think one of the most successful AI application is recommender system. Whether we realize it or not, I think we already quite familiar with utilizing this AI feature, I would say, which actually already available in many big digital platforms, from the social media, video streaming, ride-hailing, stuff like that. That's actually become a indispensable or killing feature. So without that, it's actually not quite valuable at the moment, I would say. That, the product is able to recommend the contents or the based on our preference, utilizing the user feedback, from the buy, like, what's dislikes, so on and so forth. And using machine learning to update the model, basically update the recommendation model such that in the hope that for the next recommendation task, it can provide better preference that actually know what we want to have in terms of the interaction with the digital platforms here. And I think one of the breakthrough that becomes even become exponential in terms of the development of AI, I think it's the fact that in 2016 the AI model called a deep reinforcement learning is able to kind of becoming the foundation of the so-called AlphaGo, the AI agent that can beat the human world champion in the game of Go, that actually becoming quite a breakthrough, I would say, that for the situation in which the environment is quite deterministic in the game of the game environment, the AI agent or deep learning can already perform its in kind of like human level performance in that kind of situation. And until now, the AI adoption keep increasing in many vertical industries now, not necessarily in the technology industry, but also in the probably the more incumbent industry that actually start incorporating artificial intelligence in many functions. And based on the survey or research from the McKinsey here, that the organization start to leverage AI in many functions, such as the service operations optimization, customer segmentation, product enhancement, customer acquisition, leads generation, and so on. And I think it's actually still related to the thinking framework that I mentioned before, either for the providing cognitive insight, process automation or the cognitive engagement. I think those areas that actually can relates when we see the functions that the organization or people try to use AI to improve the performance there. And also in terms of the roles in the organization or industry, it keeps growing as well, either the type of the roles and also the number of the roles that we need regarding the AI-related roles within a specific organization. And I think based on this report, we can summarize the roles into like these 6 types of roles. And sometimes we don't need all of these roles, depending on the maturity of the organization. When you just starting, adopting AI, for example, perhaps those organizations only need data scientists, data analysts, and probably software engineer. But once the organization is getting more mature and need more sophisticated development, you're gonna need like a machine learning researcher, engineer, and so on, basically. Really depending on the maturity of the organization. And also, more importantly, there's involving many collaboration as well, not only with the tech people, but also in the, with the business people. And if you work on the more, riskier domain like banking or and the likes, maybe you need to work closely together with risk analysts, for example, not only with the business people. And this is just wrapping up the, one of the example of the conventional AI that, based on our experience in the banking industry. This is the use case of acquiring the new agent in Bank Rakyat Indonesia, BRI, in which we try to help our banking officer to acquire the potential billing agent better than before, in a way that we provide the scoring model that is being embedded in the kind of map navigation along with the scoring as well, to lead the banking officer which billing agent potentially that can be visited today, for example, or that can be acquired or can be improve in terms of the level of the agent. And then the model actually provide kind of like the scoring as well as the explainability, in order to give insight why this customer have 90% score or 50% score. What's the reason whether this get a high score? So actually, it gave the banking officer nearby in those area, to give a good decision making, basically. But if there's also the human in the loop feedback, that if the recommendation is actually not quite accurate according to the expert, because in the end of the day, the banking officer is the expert, right? Starting before the AI itself, and they can actually provide feedback so that for the next iteration, they hope that the performance of the scoring model becomes increasing, in order to provide leads recommendation. Okay, the next is probably the main topic of what I would like to convey here, the rise of generative AI. And according to the generative AI itself, this is actually content generated by AI. It's a type of AI that uses machine learning to create new content, new images, videos, text, and audio. That actually quite different from the conventional AI that I mentioned before, that actually more like focus on the classifying tasks or categorization tasks, stuff like that. But here is actually it able to generate, or synthesize contents that actually different from what it learns from during the training stage, basically. And with better context and more accurate content generation, it can offer us to in solving many use cases, including in the education sector, which is actually the main topic of this forum. And this is actually just providing an example before the era of GPT, the typical generative AI use case that we used to work on, for example, in the movie industry, or the visual effect or the gaming industry, where we incorporate generative AI in order to, for example, here generate a face 3D face model or 3D face animation that actually generated from the muscle information or muscle strains. Probably you can imagine that the muscle strains is like a chord in a music situation, and the generative AI is here actually contribute to make sure that you don't play a bad chord, or you always actually generate a meaningful or humanistic expression given the muscle configuration. So from the muscle configuration, the AI actually try to generate the 3D visualization here that can be beneficial in movie production. But now, thanks to the emergence of large language models that actually train on the millions of billions of data through the supervised learning, studying by Google here, that being coined as a transformer model, which is basically the AI model that try to predict the next word, try to predict the next image, predict the next video, given the previous input, triggered by the users. Why it's different between the previous generative AI that I show you with this is because due to the the big data that being injected to the model, and also the the large parameters that keep growing, and then with those big capacity in the models, it actually can potentially do many tasks that it's quite hard to get it correctly before, basically. So the implication is the barrier to entry in order to access the benefit of AI can be done through the prompting, which is the natural language request submitted to the language model to receive a response back to us, basically. It's kind of like when we do Googling and we got the result, right, in terms of the ranking or the list of the information that we would like to open. And here it's quite analogous to that activity. Now we design or engineer a specific prompts that can solve several tasks, starting from the document summarization, information extraction, code generation, marketing campaign, and so on and so forth. And I myself, as software engineers here, already becoming the indispensable in using generative AI to do the code generation here to speed up the process of software development. Yeah, this is the example of why it's quite powerful. We can specify with the human language, with English or even with Bahasa Indonesia, and try to generate an image based on the caption or probably the sentence that we put on to the generative AI here, like an astronaut playing basketball with cats in space as a child illustration. And here it is. It is the depiction of that caption or sentence. Yeah, if you're actually more advanced 3D artist, for example, you can even engineer quite complicated prompt and get quite advanced output of the images that can be done by one of the generative AI tools called Midjourney here. Now, ChatGPT. I think you're already familiar with it, and I believe maybe some of you already getting used to it and utilize it for the daily activities, and so to help you to support completing many tasks. And yeah, it's quite becoming a recent phenomenon in artificial intelligence world, since as I mentioned before, due to the lower barrier of entry to utilize AI, you can do just prompting, and then you can get many tasks getting done through the prompting. And yeah, it's even in terms of the users reaching to the 1 million numbers, it's probably faster than the digital platforms before. Within just 5 days, it got 1 million users regarding ChatGPT here. And yeah, when I got the invitation about this event, I also playfully try to use ChatGPT to give me a recommendation. What is the topic that actually quite appropriate with this forum? And then here's the example. Although I myself probably not really following this, but I think it's good enough that, in the first part of this, during the introduction, probably I can briefly introduce myself as an applied AI specialist, and so on and so forth here. But I'm not obeying in terms of the topic of education here, because I'm not an expert in pedagogy, for example. So I don't want to put some kind of education specific expertise here. Probably I would like to hear more from the expert panelists here in terms of the education domain in the next session. And this is actually also interesting fact that GPT-4, which is like the latest version of the engine of ChatGPT, yes, it performs well on the exam that are based on evidence or factual type of the exams, but it's still struggling on, those that require high order thinking or creativity. So I think probably this gives us like some indication that perhaps we need to change a bit the way we present or curate the examination. And I myself, like, teaching in the university as well, and then now start thinking of whether the next semester I need to change the way to to provide some use case or challenge to the students here, due to that some of this especially the evidence and factual base is already can be solved by GPT-4 here. And through the API provided by like OpenAI here, it's actually really providing significant growth in terms of the product, the generative AI based application or product. And the speed is quite staggering here. Like every week, every month, there's new product called AI plus X, for example, right? And it's actually powered by GPT or powered by another generative AI, and it actually performs interesting tasks here. Yeah, this is just like how easy now doing the prototyping and software development, just like when we now trying to also making a better chatbot in the Campus Merdeka situation. Within the days and weeks, we can actually, using that API, we can prototype like a simple chatbot that's supposed to be more intelligent than our previous version of chatbot, for example, so that it can help our customer operation, and even improving the customer experience or user experience here, and typically students or lecturers here, in order to gain information about Campus Merdeka here. And this is also a very important aspect that we in the same time we also need to consider the risks of generative AI that could happen, and based on the recent survey here, there are several risks that actually could be relevant in the many situation here, starting from the inaccuracy, cybersecurity, intellectual property infringement. Maybe the inaccuracy here is actually, there is a more well-known trend here, the hallucination. So generative AI can actually potentially generate hallucination if it's actually not being prompted properly, or it haven't learned the data from the historical stage that relates to what the user try to prompt there. And also I think, given the fact that I think many organizations seem not yet addressing potential risks from the generative AI here that actually need to be pursued in the future. And this is the last topic, which probably also the transition to what we probably hear from other expert panelists here. I think to sum up here, AI actually can help us in many situations where the optimization is much needed there, and where we don't need any compassion. So AI will actually provide better values there. But when we need more creativity or strategical tasks and compassion needed here, probably we need to collaborate with AI. So basically us as a human here still actually need to support or need to contribute in order to make the utilization of AI here biased to the good things, right, rather than like biased to the bad things here. And also, this is the interesting report as well in terms of the potential aspect where AI can help in the education perspective, where I think the keywords here is the education centric, always center of educators, so that they can focus on the students, right? Where actually this kind of human in the loop design in utilizing AI is it can help teachers to make a moment-to-moment decision during the teaching, prepare for or planning and doing the reflection on teaching, and also not less important is to participate in decision about the design of AI-enabled technologies, because I think that there's still so many uncertainties that need to be addressed in the education domain as well regarding the AI utilization here. And this is also quite interesting numbers that even in the developed countries, in terms of the workload of the teachers here or the lectures, it's still like surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, the pedagogical aspect is actually having less, time compared to the grayish area here. It's more like the administration tasks, preparation, evaluation, stuff like that. I believe in Indonesia, probably we have more numbers in the grayish area here. And yeah, probably we can focus on whether AI can help us to decrease those non-pedagogical area here to handle low-level details, to increase focus on students, extending beyond the teacher's availability, meaning that we can actually increase the one-on-one, coaching or one-on-one mentoring to the students, and also can help us to for our professional development to be more productive and fruitful. Yeah, this is like the end of this presentation on my side, that I think in this era, we should start to encourage AI thinking in every aspect of the activity or the productivity that we should do, starting from know how AI works, know the difference between AI and human, and maybe some of the other people also know how to work with AI, basically, so that we can really kind of effectively utilize AI in a good way, and really helps us to achieve our goals here. So it really depends on us to design whether the AI should be more inclusive, human-centered values, should be more fair, transparent, robust, and accountable, so that it will dematerialize, demonetize, and democratize all of these services, and hopefully can dramatically improve our quality of life that actually align with the sustainable development goals that can accelerate us to that goal, basically, by utilizing AI in responsible and in a good way. I think that's my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and my apologies if some of my topics probably not quite relevant, but yeah, I think that's it for this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Gifari, for the very tremendous presentations. I'm sure that there will be like a lot of questions going on now, but just hold that thought, because we still have two more speakers, participants. So participants, before we listen to the presentations of the next speaker, we would like to inform you that the participant can ask questions to the speakers through the Zoom meeting chat menu or Q&A features, and the moderator will present the selected question to the speakers for the response. And don't forget to write down your name and institutions and to whom your questions will be addressed. And we will choose we will go with 3 questions first, and then an e-certificate of participation in KSF UT 2023 will be given to participants who have registered, participated in webinars, and filled out the online feedback forms. The link will be given by the committee after the webinar session is completed. So, okay, thank you very much, Pak Gifari. You did mention about a lot of advantage of AI, like improving cognitive engagement, automate internal process and discover pattern, make predictions, and that's very insightful. Okay, now to the next speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Let us welcome Jack Brazel, the Area Director of Southeast Asia Turnitin. Good morning, Mr. Brazel.
Good morning, Pa. How are you?
Okay, you will be given like 30 minutes to deliver your presentations. And before we start, I will read Jack Brazel's CV. Jack is the Area Director Southeast Asia for more than 7 years. He has cultivated fundamental strategic relationship in the region's higher education sector, and his passion for learning technologies is apparent through his successful leadership of teams providing solutions that help higher education institutions in Southeast Asia deliver quality learning experience to students. With an in-depth understanding of the learning landscape across diverse countries in Southeast Asia, Jack is committed to partner with education institutions in the regions to provide assessment and integrity solutions that support educators and students in their learning environment. Okay, Mr. Jack, without further ado, you may begin now.
Thank you very much. I will just share my screen first. Can I confirm that my presentation is visible to everyone?
Yes, clear.
Selamat pagi, salam alaikum. Thank you for the very kind introduction. I'd like to thank Pa Budiman for this really great opportunity to talk about practical approaches for AI writing in the classroom and what we need to know about artificial intelligence. My name is Jack Brazel. I'm the Southeast Asia Regional Director. I've lived in Indonesia now for 5 years. I'm very happy resident of Jakarta Pusat now, and I've enjoyed getting to know Indonesian academia over that time frame. So today's session, I'm going to give you an introduction to AI writing, how we developed an AI writing detector, and I want to give some people some practical tips and strategies how to manage artificial intelligence writing. As we know, Turnitin is a plagiarism prevention tool. So I'm looking at the topic today on how to ensure integrity in academic writing. We believe that artificial intelligence is good for academia. We believe, as the previous speaker mentioned, that there is going to be many valuable use cases for artificial intelligence. However, we believe that all universities still want to know the question whether or not a student wrote this paper or they gained an unfair advantage through the use of an AI writing tool like ChatGPT. Now, as we know, academic misconduct is not new to academia, and we've been looking after this concern for a very long time. And I like to refer to this, it's similar to the Cold War. Russia put nuclear bombs in Cuba, and America responded with nuclear bombs in Turkey. So with plagiarism, the strategies always change, and we have to sort of advance our strategies, and we always have to be on the lookout for new things. So you can see right in 1998, that was when copy and paste was born. And then throughout the years, we've seen many things. We've seen collusion, where students work together. We see research misconduct, where people are doing self-plagiarism or borrowing things from each other's research. Then we saw contract cheating. And this is where we might engage a contract writer or a third party to write for us. And then moving on into the 2020, obviously code plagiarism, and then AI writing, which is where we get ChatGPT to write for us. And as AI grows better and better, we are going to see more and more concerns about the integrity of students' papers. And of course, as stewards of academia, we want to give out qualifications, university degrees, to people who have fairly earned it without any unfair disadvantage. So whilst ChatGPT is very new, our data indicates that nearly every student is aware of it. A lot of students are using it for their homework. 53% of students used it to write an essay, and 48% of students used it for a quiz or at a home test. And this data came from January 2023. Now, as the previous speaker mentioned, the subscription rate of ChatGPT has been incredible. So I suspect that this number will change again as time happens. But what we're seeing still is that educator awareness is lagging. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak here because we can grow that awareness. So obviously college professors are getting more and more aware. 72% are concerned about the impact of cheating, of AI cheating. What I'm happy about is that 34% of educators want to ban ChatGPT. We cannot get rid of AI technology. It's going to be in society. So what it means is we have to evolve as academics. And whilst this number here is concerning, 21% of educators have used ChatGPT. There are some positive elements to ChatGPT tools, and that can be doing references for us, doing summaries, a lot of educational benefits. And of course, right across the world, everything has been, the response of society has been different. So banning ChatGPT via the network, the Australian public education system bans the chatbot. Now, I ultimately look at chatbots and AI, it is like the calculator. We can no longer get rid of it. It is also like autopilot on a plane. We're very comfortable with pilots using autopilot because it takes away the menial work. And then the pilots are looking at their computers, we hope, and they're looking at the weather, making changes to the flight plan, but they're still in control of the plane. So this is what we say here. So we think there is more a positive one. So, we believe that we're going to have to look at how to redesign assessment, how to detect it. We're going to have to work with it in a positive way because the technology is out there and we have to deal with it. I look at it in a very positive outlook. But the biggest concern is how do we maintain our high standard of academic integrity with this ChatGPT? And of course, as we know, students are going to continue to use it whether we like it or not. And for us as a company and as an individual, I think it's really exciting that we're working with this technology. And for us, we want to help you prevent student cheating. We want to help you prevent students gaining an unfair advantage when submitting their work and getting a qualification, so that all universities in Indonesia can say that a student got their degree in a fair and valid manner. And there is means and ways of doing this. But at the moment, we are concerned. We haven't seen a lot of policies come out yet. We still think that there's a lot of discomfort from universities on handling this, but we believe that, in time, we can learn together and institutions will be ready to meet this challenge. So I think, I just wanted to touch base and really look at AI writing 101. So obviously, let's make it really simple. ChatGPT, and I think this was touched upon before, it's a large language model that uses a natural language processing to understand prompts and produce human-like text. And generative ID is it's a broad label, and that's used to describe any type of AI that uses learning algorithms to create digital images, video, audio, text, or code. Oops. And there's a definition of large language and a definition of natural language processing. And so I've gotten a video just to help
Jangan ragu untuk mencoba. Dengan mencoba kita bisa.
Halo semua. Jadi di video kali ini kita akan membahas tentang bagaimana caranya kita menggunakan ChatGPT dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Yang lalu kita sudah membahas tentang bagaimana cara membuat akun di ChatGPT ini. Yang belum nonton videonya, silahkan klik linknya ada di deskripsi video. Kalau kalian sudah punya akunnya, langsung saja ke tutorialnya. Sekarang kita sudah berada di dalam dashboard ChatGPT ya. Oke, di dalam dashboard ini, di sini ada new chat. Ya. Nanti kalau kita akan membuat chat baru, ada juga dark mode. Ya, di sini untuk mengganti tema ya, tema menjadi gelap seperti ini. Oke, jadi langsung saja bagaimana caranya kita menggunakan ChatGPT dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Langkah pertama yang kita lakukan adalah kita mengetikkan perintah ya di chatnya ini. Itu menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Kita langsung saja tulis, misalnya awalannya begini ya. Siapa namamu? Oke. Kemudian kita tambah lagi. Jawab dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Oke. Ini kita kasih tanda tanya. Kemudian kita kirim. Nah, dia langsung menjawab guys dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Sekarang kita tanya lagi ya sesuatu. Sekarang kita tidak perlu lagi menggunakan bahasa Indonesia karena dia sudah mengetahui perintah dasar bahwa semua yang kita tanyakan itu harus dijawab dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Misal sekarang kita tanyakan bagaimana cara mendapatkan uang dari internet. Jawab dalam 2 paragraf. Jelaskan dengan singkat saja ya. Jelaskan dengan singkat. Oke. Tanda tanya di sini ya guys. Di sini kita tambah tanda tanya. Kita enter. Nah, ya, dia langsung memberikan kita jawabannya seperti ini. Ada opsi-opsinya. Jadi ada beberapa opsi yang disarankan ChatGPT ini ya, bagaimana caranya kita untuk mendapatkan uang dari internet. Jadi menurut saya website ini sangat-sangat berguna ya. Bisa kita manfaatkan untuk apa saja tergantung bagaimana kreativitas kita dalam bertanya kepada AI ini. Jadi kita di sini bisa membuat skrip video atau bahkan kita bertanya tentang ilmu pengetahuan. Misal kita adalah anak sekolah dan kita ingin mencari jawaban pertanyaan yang diberikan oleh guru kita atau kita ingin menyelesaikan tugas kita bisa mencarinya di sini ya. Oke, jadi itu dia sekilas fitur tentang website ChatGPT ini ya. Jadi di video selanjutnya kita akan bahas bagaimana caranya kita membuat skrip atau naskah video melalui ChatGPT ini. Dan kita mengubahnya menjadi video yang kita upload di YouTube. Sampai bertemu di tutorial selanjutnya.
Jangan ragu untuk.
So, and just talking on to the defining the GPT in ChatGPT. So it's a generative pre-trained transformer. So it's a neural network architecture that powers the model. So we're looking at ChatGPT 3.5 and some of the things that they can do, which has broken it down. So strongest, it can write an essay. I, for instance, asked it to write an article in the details of an Australian newspaper journalist, and I thought it was pretty good. It can do business communications. It can aggregate notes. It can do technical communications. However, its weakness, though, is personal style, taking perspective, and provide recent or local information. So it is a big tool. And as you can see, it's here in Indonesia, capable of producing Indonesian content. So keeping that in mind, looking at the capabilities, we believed our best response was to actually help academics understand when a student has used an AI writing tool. And we developed a detector. So we launched it within April 2023, and it was only visible to the instructors. But what we're able to do is we're able to highlight AI written text. And then that would allow you to have a conversation with the student on how much they have honestly written. So whilst this tool is a very new tool, it is new, and we are working to develop ongoing. So we can say it's very strong in English and academic writing and prose, okay? Where it's quite weak is still non-English, I'm afraid, secondary school and poetry, and tables, I should add. So how does it really work, okay? And to put it quite simple is that AI is a predictable writing model. So everything is written to the same standard of writing quality. And we know that most people can't write consistently to the same quality. So what we do is that the model detects those variances, and then we can highlight that as potential plagiarism potential, okay? And so you can see the examples that are there. And of course, look, there are some false positives, okay? So it is not the perfect tool. And what we're telling to our customers is that they actually have to work with the student and show them the report and have a conversation, okay? And we've just got a video here that touches on what to do when
I'm David Adamson, an AI scientist at Turnitin and a former high school teacher. So Turnitin is getting ready to share an AI writing detector with our users, with you, the instructors, so that you can engage with and understand how your students are beginning to use AI writing tools. It's important for us to be clear with you about the reliability of our predictions. We have decided to prioritize precision in our detector. That is, if we say that a document has AI writing in it, we want to be pretty sure about that. Preferring precision might mean we miss some AI writing that's really there. We might have a lower recall. We're fine with that. Let's miss some stuff and be more right about what we find. Our evaluation set is a big bag of documents representing as best we can the many ways people can write in an academic context and the way they're using AI writers, perhaps mixed in with their own authentic writing. We're using this data to set a threshold on our predictions, only counting text as AI written if its detection score meets our high precision target. When we're wrong, it will be an underprediction more often than not. Except when we don't, because sometimes we won't. We expect we'll be wrong about 1 out of 100 fully human written documents. That is a false positive rate of about 1%. That's pretty good, but it's not zero. And that means you'll have to take our predictions, as you should with the output of any AI-powered feature from any company, with a big grain of salt. You, the instructor, have to make the final interpretation. You know the student, you know the context. And it's important for you to know how and when we might be wrong. So here's some sense of the flavor of our false positives. First of all, repetitive writing. If a text substantially repeats itself, either word for word or closely paraphrasing what came before, it may get predicted as AI writing when it's just super redundant. Second, and relatedly, our detector is meant for paragraphs of English language prose, not for lists, outlines, short questions, code, or poetry. Sometimes such submissions have a lot of self-similarity from item to item, and they don't read like paragraphs, and that is going to cause us to stumble. So this prompts a big question. What about developing writers, English language learners whose writing might be more redundant? Well, we very purposefully oversample from such writing in both our training data and our evaluation set. Despite this, real talk, our false positive rate is slightly higher for secondary level writing for middle and high school students than it is for higher education. Still near our 1% target, but there is a difference. We'll be working on this. However, happily, we don't yet see any evidence that we're biased against English language learners from any country at any level. And that's the sort of thing we're going to keep a close eye on as we move towards production. So I hope this gives you all a sense of how we're approaching this task. We want to own our mistakes. We want to understand and share with you how and when we're wrong. We're leaning in for precision and fairness, even if it means we might miss some AI writing that's there. Thank you.
So, look, as we mentioned, this is going to be a continual development process. So, for instance, we have put some more things in. So, display an asterisk in the indicator for documents with less than 20% AI writing detected. We're going to raise the minimum word requirement from 150 to 300. And we're going to adjust how the sentences at the beginning and ending of the document are aggregated. But I think the big thing that I want to put onto the audience today is that there are some practical tips that you can execute today to approach this challenge of AI writing in the classroom. So, for instance, we have some principles, okay? You want to ensure academic integrity. You want to understand the purpose of assessment. And we have a saying that your mileage may vary. So things will always change depending on where you're up to. So obviously, academic integrity, we all know it. So you want to ensure that being honest and ethical in scholarly work, and you want to acknowledge the work of others. And, you want your students to show to you that they have actually learned what you've taught them. And you need to conceptualize this for your own situation. So we all want conversations to be preventative and obviously pedagogical, okay? So have those clear expectations with students, discuss what is ethical use of ChatGPT, and of course, go to your institutional academic integrity policy. So I think, a way of doing this is actually ensuring that you have a conversation. You do an integrity quiz with explicit do and don'ts, allow students to retract submissions, remind students midterm about integrity and consequences of getting caught, tell students that you will be using an AI detection tool, and actually normalize help. Tell them if they need help, they can come to you. And when they do raise these concerns, prepare yourself. You are going to have a difficult conversation and rely on that academic integrity policy. So what we can also do is we can look at how we design our assessment, okay? So make sure that you evaluate your assessments when it comes to critical thinking, student voice, so how they write, sources and citations, and how they personalize it. So what we need to do is we ensure that the assessment has relevance in its choice. There's going to be project work, so process and product differentiated documentation, modeling, expectation, and feedback, and make sure we relate the assessment to a personal experience, make them argue in the document, make a prediction, and make a connection between the materials presented in class. And we can, I don't know if you're familiar with scaffolding. So this is where they do the sentence development, and there's going to be obviously formative activities where there's drafts, reflective journaling, milestones, peer review and feedback. These are all ways of ensuring that no AI has been caught up, okay? So my closing remarks and takeaways, that survey might not work there, is that really what we want to do is ensure that everyone knows that AI is here to stay. It is a positive thing. We just need to ensure that we know when AI is being used, and we encourage positive ways of using this new tool, but we maintain our focus and our strategies to ensure that all academic qualifications are still earned in a fair and transparent manner for all students moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jack, for your interesting presentations. And it is very delightful that Trinidad has already have some kind of tools for academic integrity. Thank you very much. But I think there will be a lot of questions, but we hold that thought first because we're gonna go to the next speakers, Professor Dr. Engineer Wisnujat Miko from University of Indonesia, who has already joined us today. And thank you very much, Professor, for joining this forum. And it is a great honor that you can share your expertise with us today. And let us use our valuable time to listen to the presentations of the Professor Wisnujat Miko. And before we welcome Prof. Wisnujat Miko, I will read his CV. Professor Wisnujat Miko holds a Bachelor of Engineering and a Master of Computer Science from Universitas Indonesia in 1997 and 2000. He earned his Doctor of Engineering degree from Nagoya University, Japan in 2007. Since September 2017, he has held the positions of full professor at the Faculty of Computer Science, Universitas Indonesia, and specializing in artificial intelligence and robotics. He has led research projects with substantial funding in the last 5 years, resulting in around 220 publications indexed in Scopus and an H index of 22. He is also actively engaged in community service, developing innovations such as mobile robot applications and Zakat information systems. He has been involved in the IEEE Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers organizations, including serving as the chair of the IEEE Indonesia sections in 2019 and 2020. His accomplishments have been recognized through various awards, including the Habibie Award 2015 and the University Research Achievement at the University of Indonesia from 2006 to 2016. And everyone, please welcome Professor Wisnujat Miko. You may go, Professor.
Okay, thank you, Pak Antares. Is my voice clear?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is very honor to discuss with ChatGPT, and thank you to Pak Rector to invite me to share. Actually, everyone now learn about the ChatGPT, and yes, Pak Dr. Muhammad Gifari is my best friend in Korika, and also Mr. Jack is I'm very happy to listen from the Turnitin about the how to explore, how to maybe implement the ChatGPT to become actually the ethical problem when we use the ChatGPT. As Pak Antares information before, I'm also managed because I belong to IEEE. Usually we have more than 60 international conference will be included in Scopus and also in Explorer database. But the problem is, I'm sorry, maybe now I'm still in Raker, so I'm in traveling, Pak Antares. I'm now in Bogor because now in 2 days we will discuss about the curriculum. Because I'm belong a Faculty of Computer Science, we will discuss what is the ethical issue when we want to maybe collaborate with ChatGPT in terms of how to maybe teach and learn in educational environment. So I'm sorry if there is some maybe the voice. Okay. And
no worries.
Pak Gifari also already explained about the AI. What is the AI? So maybe I'll skip about the AI. And yes, this is yes, everything is related with the AI. So yes, actually, this is like a revolution industry, I think. First revolution industry, second, third, fourth, and maybe everyone maybe think about using the AI, they become a fit revolution industry. Okay, actually, yes, this is I'm very familiar because my specialty is about the autonomous mobile robot, autonomous drone. Yes, this is the most advanced AI. We call this is put it all together about how to maybe catch the information using our AI like camera and everything, and then maybe we combine the information become a decision, and this is the real time. So it's maybe it's already happened in now. And the other one, when we deal with the new, the latest version of the AI, generative AI, this is the example when we implement the generative AI, the AI can produce every combination. When we maybe try to develop some apartment building, for example. So when I discuss with my colleagues from the architecture department, yes, now we will maybe use this tool, but the problem is how about the copyright, how about the idea? But we cannot avoid, and we cannot maybe neglect about this technology. It's already happened. And then the other one is, yes, already maybe the problem about actually this is the video manipulation. Actually, this is not Obama. So, but they can replace with the video of Obama, either for Putin or so on. And it's already happened in our daily life. Generate some manipulate the data or like a video, a speech, and also, and in terms of the ChatGPT, the problem about the fake of the publication. This is the problem. So maybe we try to maybe discuss detail about how to avoid, especially when we deal with the education environment. And this is the Mona Lisa video. Actually, the Mona Lisa is just one picture. Using the AI, it become a smile of Mona Lisa, Pak Antares. So, can you imagine? So, if we want to maybe to manipulate the history, for example, the Mona Lisa is just one photograph. With the AI, it becomes a smile. The meaning is we can maybe change the maybe perception from the human when we create some another thing. It is never happened before. With the AI, it can be. This is the problem also. And I'm also this is my publication, the latest publication, use the kamikaze drone, like in Ukraine and in Soviet. This is the battle of the drone. So the video, yes. Sorry, my computer. Yes, this is the how. Yes, it's becoming very dangerous when we implement the AI, but there is some rule or some ethic recommendation when we. Okay, I will move to the ChatGPT. Yes, actually, we already have some disappointed with the AI implementation. We call the AI winter. It's very usually the society hope the AI can solve everything, but in the reality is we already disappointed with the AI, with the technology. We call the AI winter. First one when the first AI winter when the AI can just solve about the linear problem. So we propose some algorithm. For example, this is the first, maybe the HEP algorithm or Septon algorithm. Then maybe they can solve the XOR problem, nonlinear problem, and then new hope from the AI. But the problem is when we create maybe the perceptron, the backpropagation, it's maybe need computational power. So maybe 20 years ago, it's very difficult to implement the neural network. But now we have a GPU technology, parallel processing. So we can maybe train the AI, the super AI, like a ChatGPT, so that it become very powerful. Okay, maybe it's quite technical, but maybe the point is the ChatGPT is already maybe got the trend from the maybe 90% from the Wikipedia, from the scroll data, and the latest one, ChatGPT 3.5 and 4, it's already trend 6.8 billion data. I just review about the the computer or the AI is already beat the world chess champion Garry Kasparov. Also already beat the Sido, like with the DeepMind. So the meaning is when AI implement in this very specific, maybe it become powerful, and no one can beat the creativities of the AI. Okay, this is just family of a GPT. I don't know, maybe now it's GPT-4. Maybe we still wait a GPT-5. I don't know. And also the Google also maybe develop some bot. They mentioned that the bot maybe can train online train with the maybe scroll from the internet. The ChatGPT maybe the latest data is 2021. The meaning is there is some missing knowledge, but the problem is the bot is still not published, because I think it's quite difficult to train with the maybe various data when we want to training to the AI system. Okay, so now as Mas Muhammad Bifari and also Mr. Jack already mentioned about with the ChatGPT, because they already have maybe got the training data from the maybe the 60 or 90% of the knowledge from the Wikipedia, from the open source, open book, and so on. And then maybe they can have a capability, language generation, question answering, and text formulation, and we already know. Pak Antares, in March 2023, we have some also webinar from the Dewan Guru Besar Universitas Indonesia. I also belong to Dewan Guru Besar Universitas Indonesia, worry about the ethic. So I mentioned ini etika penggunaan ChatGPT di lingkungan akademik. So because yes, as Pak Muhammad Bifari and Pak Jet mentioned, is very powerful and can replace many things. But the problem is, yes, we must keep about the learning process when maybe we want to teach some student, and also maybe some plagiarism problem and so on. So it's still ongoing progress about how to maybe to manage the ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is already passed the entrance examination, magister entrance examination, for example, in US medical licensing exam and law school exam. The meaning is, for example, the TOEFL grade is maybe more than 600 when compared with the maybe average people. The meaning is yes, the ChatGPT is maybe is have high capability compared with the other people. So I don't know, maybe when we implement for the student, for example, how to maybe make some assignment, so that maybe it become very easy when they use the ChatGPT. And so we already tried the ChatGPT to solve our examination, Pak Antares, from the first or the second semester about the programming, about the statistical, about the mathematics and the ChatGPT can solve. Maybe the grade is more than 60. The meaning is maybe A- or A. So maybe I want to maybe listen from the Universitas Terbuka, because yes, this is how to handle it and how to it becomes very easy when we use ChatGPT. Maybe we will change the way of the assessment maybe. So maybe in our faculty, for example, Andres and the audience, maybe the big point when we assess the student is when we discuss directly, not with the report, because now report is quite difficult to know this is from their self or from ChatGPT and from some AI tool. And also I try to make some journal Q1 and Q2 journal publication, because I compare with my published journal when I maybe the process is maybe 6 months, but using the ChatGPT and also Mr. Jack also already maybe give the point about yes, using the ChatGPT we can maybe improve our writing capability. But the problem is, how about the copyright? How about the so many things? And also now, Elsevier also IEEE. I also belong to IEEE. I request to IEEE, what is the recommendation from the IEEE when we want to implement the ChatGPT, maybe to help the researcher to prepare the journal. So also maybe yes, I think it's quite a good or hot topic to discuss about that. And also I am also teaching about the research methodology. Next semester I want to try. I'm sorry, still in Bahasa Indonesia. So I want to try to maybe to teach the research methodology using the ChatGPT. And I request from the Dewan Guru Besar Universitas Indonesia, not directly just copy paste or blah blah blah, but this is the ChatGPT help us to become advisor. Maybe so many ways to use the ChatGPT, but the problem is how to maybe assess the student when they use the ChatGPT. So I request also to the University of Indonesia, to the IEEE, to the some society, is there any recommendation when we use the ChatGPT? Because I think yes, we must maybe have some perception when we use ChatGPT. And when I'm sorry, also still in Bahasa, when we use a plugin, for example, Pak Antares, it can be the data, the latest data is 2021. But using the plugin, the PDF file, we can maybe convert the PDF file, and maybe the ChatGPT can learn from the journal Q1, Q2. Then they can know about the latest, the research gap of our. So for example, I give some workshop. Yes. In maybe the last 4 months, I'm very intense to explore the ChatGPT, and I also have some certification become the ChatGPT expert because, and also I'm have a certification about the quantitative research, qualitative research, mixed model. So I will try to combine. But the problem is when there is no regulation, and yes, I think it's quite dangerous. So I request the professor from University of Indonesia and from the other university, also the some society, maybe please deal, please make some recommendation when we want to use the ChatGPT. This is the next event, maybe when maybe the I don't know when the audience want to join Pak Antares and the audience about how to make some state of the art, the level Q1 and Q2. And I already exercised about 2 months, and I exercised from my published, not the new paper, my published paper, and I compare, because I'm still not because there is no recommendation. So I think it's better I'm still wait and see about how to use the ChatGPT. But yes, this is it's already happened in our society, and this is my conclusion. And yes, we are not competitive with AI, but yes, from Professor Pedro, it's not man versus machine. This is not that it's man with the machine versus man without. And data and intuition are like horse and rider, and you don't try to outrun a horse. You ride it. So when we use the AI tool, for example, yes, it's become effective and efficiency. But the problem is, yes, there is some ethical issue and so many things. So maybe it's better, maybe we have some same perception, so that maybe we can, yes, we cannot avoid the AI, but maybe we can manage and control how to use the AI. Okay, that's all from my talk. Maybe we can discuss more detail for, during the discussion session. Thank you, Pak Antares. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor. That was a very interesting insight, Professor, on your presentations. And for the audience, for approximately 2 hours, we have listened to very insightful presentations from our speakers, from our extraordinary speakers about the utilization of ChatGPT and its implication for education, and how we can make use of the artificial intelligence such as ChatGPT to boost our competence in many areas. One thing that maybe we never think of it in the past. So, all right, so now we'll continue the questions and answer questions. But due to the time limitations, we will take only probably 3 selected questions first. And to the committee, can you please help to point the questions? Okay, I will read the questions from Mr. Muhammad. Okay. So from Muhammad Firman Karim from UT Jakarta, this question is to Mr. Muhammad Gifari. How to anticipate the use of AI and ChatGPT in phishing data banking, and the use of ChatGPT in the originality of the use of intellectual property rights in the field of journals, in the field of education, and the legitimacy of students' answers in answering exams via ChatGPT. How to know that the person interrogating by phone in the form of survey or interview via WhatsApp call is human or AI? Thank you for your attention, sir. Probably Mr. Gifari, you can answer.
Okay, thank you, Pak Antares and Pak Firman Karim for the discussion. And I think that assuming all of these problems being presented here is based on all the natural language text or data, including probably I would like to address the first use case here regarding the phishing data banking, cybersecurity aspect. I think regarding the capability compared to the era before we actually know, or before the LLMs or generative AI are becoming available, I think it's an opportunity for us, for example, the domain expert in this area, to explore more on the how to define the proper prompting in terms of anticipating some kind of cases here. Yeah, for example, since the power that the generative AI here is now offering is the LLMs have been trained with quite wide or a lot of information beforehand, what we call it like in a pre-training stage. I think with those initial state that is already powerful, we could explore with what we call it at the moment as like a few shot prompting or few shot examples or training here, in a way that we could use like a few examples that actually relate to the domain that we want to solve. For example, to identify phishing data here. Assuming we have a limited or a few numbers of information that we categorize as phishing, and then use those information as the additional examples, and then design a prompt that can direct the LLMs or the generative AI to perform, for example, to classify whether this is actually phishing or not phishing. And I'm sure the domain expert will know better about that. But here is actually my point. My point here is that the potential or the speed of the prototyping and the development to solve that particular use case would be much faster, and also could be more accurate than compared to using the more traditional AI here. And I think that's probably can shed lights, the potential power that we can harness here using the ChatGPT. So to summarize here, we can use the pre-trained model, the GPT model here, and then perform like some kind of few shot tasks that can improve or to direct the LLM's model to solve the use case that we want to solve. For example, like the phishing information there. I think for the next topic relating to because I saw there's also a question about related to education. I would leave to the other panelists if the gentleman here would like to add more regarding to the question, Pak Antares.
Thank you very much, Pak Givari. And we go for the second questions. Dedicated to Mr. Jack Brazil from Hasta de Pradana, Universitas Terbuka. How can AI-powered virtual tutors and intelligent learning systems be ethically designed and deployed in education to promote equitable access to quality learning opportunities for students of diverse socioeconomic backgrounds? Mr. Jack?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question, Hasta. Appreciate it. So looking at this question, we have a belief that AI should be used to make human tutors' lives more easier and allow them to focus on the things that matter, helping students get through their courses. So for me, I believe that ethical virtual tutors and intelligent learning systems are tools that can sort of improve students where the instructors don't have to get involved. So in my mind, what I believe is ethical is AI tools that can help students improve their grammar and the structure of their sentences. I believe that being able to check equations and give automated feedback based on that, and being able to have these tools that show students where maybe they've got some shortfalls in their learning and where they can go off and do further work. But I don't believe that, for instance, we should be using AI to mark papers and do things like that. We should be looking at ways of taking the workload off our stressed instructors and tutors and helping them have a better life and improve outcomes for students. Hope that makes sense.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jack. And we're going to go to the second questions dedicated to Professor Wisnu Jatmiko. Okay, so there are two questions, and apparently it's similarly alike. So from Carl David from Kupang, NYD, and the first question is, as a lecturer from one of the renowned universities in Indonesia, what is your opinion on the role of educational institutions in handling ethical concerns when implementing ChatGPT? How can they ensure that its use maintains a balance between automation and the preservation of critical thinking skills? And from YD, using artificial intelligence means relying on computer intelligence. Doesn't something like the have a bad impact on student learning morality? Professor?
Yes, thank you for the question. I think it's very interesting question, and yes, it's very, this is also the same question I deliver to the Dewan Guru Besar Universitas Indonesia, Pak Antares, and also to deliver the society. But maybe we can try to learn from the history. Okay, for example, when we use the calculator, okay, scientific calculator, and we just put the input, then the calculator automatically maybe gives the solution, trigonometry and so on. And maybe 30 years ago, it also makes shock therapy to the educational society. So maybe they think about now the problem is how to assess the student. Yes, if we use the shortcut, the meaning is the learning process will be missing. Also, this is also the argument. For example, when we use the ChatGPT to create the essay, so we worry about maybe the student cannot know about how to construct the essay, the good essay. Maybe first sentence about the main sentence, the supporting sentence, and so on, and it will be missing. But maybe because we are the educational environment, so please make a balance about some important part about the learning process. So I think it's maybe I don't know, maybe we must have some very long discussion with many stakeholders, how to assess and how to make a balance. But we cannot avoid the AI. So maybe I think Indonesia will not ban the AI. But the problem is, please give some recommendation as soon as possible. But the problem is, maybe the government, maybe I hope maybe have maybe enough background about the education and AI, and maybe to invite so many stakeholders to make some maybe the better perception to look about how to use, especially in educational level. So I think, yes, we call Pak Antares anak sekolah rebahan, kaum rebahan in bahasa. I'm sorry, Mr. Jack. We call the mahasiswa rebahan. So just input the how to maybe make. No, we will not teach that ChatGPT just create just copy and paste, but we will use ChatGPT maybe to help our knowledge background. As maybe when I give some workshop. My colleagues from the Professor Ethic also give me alert about, Pak Wisnu, please maybe think about the ethical issue and don't show about how to powerful. So in my workshop, it's not so about how to very powerful AI, but we just introduce about this is already happened and already available in our society. And then maybe the other country or the another people already use, and maybe it's better maybe we must manage the regulation, and then maybe we can use. Maybe my answer is still normative. I'm sorry, because yes, everyone when we what is the how to make in balance and what is the regulation is the bad issue. Yes, but I think when we manage like nuclear, for example, nuclear already manageable. When we have some good solution to manage regarding ethic and how to use the AI, I think it's become useful for our society. This is my answer, Pak Antares. I hope it's maybe at least make a better perception when we want to use the AI. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Okay, do we have another question? Okay, we still have another question from Siti Ratih, Bangka Belitung, dedicated to Mr. Muhammad Gifari. Your presentation has shown a wide range of AI utilizations from banking to the entertainment industry. And how can it be implemented in the education industry from the primary level to the university level, considering the cost and required infrastructure associated with it? Pak Gifari?
Yeah, I think some of the use cases have been presented by Jack and also Prof. Wisnu regarding the education sectors that, in terms of the use case, potential use case that can be enhanced with, by leveraging artificial intelligence. I think probably I would like to provide some insights in terms of, the government sector that actually, trying to help the education sector, basically, since now in the context of professional work here, trying to help how to manage from the government side or the central side, so that anything related to the process or probably the management of the education here can be improved compared to the previous state here. I think first, the infrastructure, I would say, or the computational resources are getting cheaper and cheaper along the time compared to, I don't know, maybe even like 5 years ago. And also in terms of the availability of the powerful, models here that we're talking about here, the GPT or the LLMs here, sorry, large language model, even with the closed source or the open source also keep getting powerful. I think the opportunity or the costs is getting lower indeed, in terms of leveraging the computational power of AI. And if you actually use cloud, it's also could be made cheaper in the sense that you can actually pay on demand. So you don't need to prepare your own infrastructure. You don't need to host your own models or your own solution, in an on-premise situation. So I think what we need to do is probably find the cheapest way. If you have more, capacity to explore technically, maybe you can start with the open source, LLMs, like, at the moment, if you're familiar with some projects from Meta here, like Llama or Llama 2, that actually also working on the generative AI in an open source direction, we can start from that, and then we can probably have exploration, and then see how it goes in order to solve specific problems here. Also, I think in the closed source aspect, the subscription is also getting cheaper. I would say, even with the OpenAI or probably with other startup companies like Anthropic, and then also building the powerful LLMs. If we have some budget, like not necessarily like a very high budget. I think in my experience here, in our experience, that actually try to build some prototype. I think with the small scale of usage here, maybe we only spend like not more than $10 a month here in terms of doing some kind of exploration and prototyping. Although when we want to scale up, it's probably a different thing or different story. Maybe we need to plan a bit better. But probably the point here is, I think we can first start with what is available out there, either with the closed source LLMs or the open source LLMs, so that starting from that, in order to experience or to utilize a cheap source of AI. I think hopefully this makes sense, Pak Antares.
Thank you, Pak Gifari. I totally agree about the OpenAI because I use it also. It's a tremendous breakthrough. Previously, when I tried to construct a literature review, probably before the OpenAI, it took me like months. And now with the OpenAI, and it just takes me like days. I mean, we can construct a literature review. That's quite amazing breakthrough. We can go to the next questions. From Mr. Jack Brezel, from Stephanie Madaayu. Is there any insight for using AI to recognize if a real exact student used and does their online tutorial on LMS or another person's? What kind of pattern is used to recognize this login or learning system of students' recognitions? And the second is there any tool we can use to recognize whether a discussion on an online learning management system from the students was from AI-generated tools, other than copying and pasting their text to the AI recognition text generator, such as a ChatGPT? I have done this way, and sometimes if the text was generated in Indonesian, the AI couldn't recognize the text, even though if we copy and paste the discussions theme or question to the ChatGPT, the answer pattern was similar to those student answer. Mr. Jack Brezel?
Thank you very much for that question. So looking at number one question, so I'm going to assume what she means is checking AI work within the LMS platform, okay? So obviously, if you're subscribed to Turnitin, we could check it. You can integrate Turnitin to the platform, and you could check it within the document viewer if the assessment was done on an LMS. And of course, there are a few flaws there's a few flaws in our detection tool. Obviously, some of it being with English learners, but we can definitely check for potential AI writing. The pattern, really, like I said in my presentation, AI is a very predictable writer, and hence normal people like us, we don't write that predictably, and that's how our tool detects plagiarism, detects AI-based plagiarism. For number two, so for Turnitin, well, Turnitin obviously has a detection tool, okay? And what that means is when students write papers, you can check that. You can check that for AI-based plagiarism. Yes, we are a little bit weak on Indonesian at the moment. However, we do have some upcoming development being done for Bahasa Indonesian, and I expect that to improve dramatically. But yes, you can check your assignments, whether or not they were generated by an AI tool. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brezel. Do we have another question? Oh, we still have one. Question to Professor Wisnu Jatmiko from Ahmad Rifai Aceh. Have you experienced potential challenge as lecturers in terms of the integrations of ChatGPT bring to education? And how can educators or lecturers effectively leverage their capability to support personalized learning for students? Professor?
Okay, thank you, Pak Antares. Thank you, Mas Ahmad Rifai. I sent my PPT 100, more than 100 to Dr. Tuti. Maybe please share to, yes. Now we try to exercise using ChatGPT into our education process. For example, we already have some book, but still not SBN book about the module, Pak Antares, about how to maybe find the research gap. Yes, I already shared, and then it becomes very powerful. Using this ChatGPT, we can know about the, as you know, maybe KKNI, I don't know, KKNI, the leveling of knowledge. And we already try to verify. Pak Muhammad Gifari also, the weakness of the, already mentioned about the weakness of the ChatGPT, about the hallucination. What is the meaning of the hallucination? The ChatGPT is always give the answer, but sometimes the answer is yes, quiet in bahasa ngawur, or it's not correct. But the problem is, even if it's not correct, it maybe the explanation is by maybe include by some data or by numbering of some formula and so on. It's become very good, good and very good looking, for example. But the problem is the content. The content is not 100% correct. But at least we can learn 90% or 80% of every knowledge from the ChatGPT. But the most important thing, we must need some verification about the content. But if we do like that for the education process, it becomes very powerful. Yes, this is just my experience how to, and then maybe, yes, we can make some personalized learning for the student. Yeah, it depends our assignment using ChatGPT, exercise or plugin and so on. So yes, this is my experience. It's still 3 or 4 months, but I think the next semester maybe the next month, September, until the end of the year, 4 or 5 months, we will try to intense how to maybe implement ChatGPT to teach about the research methodology and writing a journal with the maybe with the ethical corridor in education. Okay, this is my answer, Pak Antares. Thank you. I recommend to Pak Antares.
Thank you very much, Professor. Do we still have another question, the committee? I think that will be the last questions, and thank you very much. Do we still have one? Do we still have? Okay. Okay. Or it's only the so Mr. Jack Russell. This is gonna be the last questions. Okay. This is from Sarah Kepulauan Riau to Mr. Jack Brazil. Looking forward, how do you envision the future of education with the continued integrations and advancements of AI-powered tools like ChatGPT? From a high-tech company perspective, is it possible to integrate AI into the learning management system to check the answers, grading and plagiarism check, to essay type of questions? And how possible is it implemented in Indonesia? Mr. Jack?
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, so definitely we can integrate AI-powered tools into your learning management system. So that's where the students will upload their papers and the instructors would get the AI score, and they'd be able to see whether or not students have used AI tool in their writing process. So I think from a possibility sense, anything can be implemented in Indonesia. However, after living here now for 5 years, and each university is dealing with academic integrity matters in their own way. So it really depends on where they're up to on their journey. But if a university is really focused on ensuring that students earn their qualifications in a fair and transparent manner, I really do believe that it can be integrated in Indonesia, and many of our customers are using this AI tool already. I think what we need to do as a community of academics is we need to learn together on how to work with this new development, what AI plagiarism looks like, what we're trying to aim to prevent, and what we're trying to aim to improve with the advent of AI-based technology. Thank you very much for that great question, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brazil. And that will be the last question. And now, okay, big applause to our speakers, everyone. And I wish we have more time to discuss and share, but however, it is nearing out to our closing. Just a quick recap from the speakers that apparently we all agree that AI will still remain here and keeps evolving over time in the nearest future. And there's no way we hold back or resist the technological advancements. And right now we need to find out how we should see the technological advancement as an opportunity and embracing AI for the good sake of education, and of course, especially for humanity. And in order to do so, as Professor also mentioned, Professor Wisnu, we need to redesign our assessments in learning. And now, before we close our discussions, let's hear the closing statement from each speaker. So I would like to hear from Mr. Gifari, and then followed by Mr. Jack, and finally Professor Wisnu.
So I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the chance, Pak Antares. Yeah, it's really exciting time for all of us here, observing and then experiencing the sort of like perhaps would be the next level of the exponential technology driven by generative AI here, with lower barrier of entry and more, being democratized as well in terms of the access of this the AI power compared to previous time. So it's an opportunity for all of us to explore, not only from the technological side, but also from all of you that actually perhaps not in this field formally. And even that makes our AI development and then value, adding value to the society would be much better when we collaborate together between the technology people and also from people that is actually really the expert in the vertical domains that we're talking about. In this case, it's on the education sector. So explore it and then apply AI thinking that I mentioned before to get yourself comfortable in working with AI, and which area that AI should contribute more, and which area that we as a human or as an educator should contribute more. And hopefully we can really utilize this good technology for goods. Yeah, that's probably my last. It's not generated by ChatGPT, unfortunately. It's my own paragraph. Okay, thank you, Pak Antares, and also the
Thank you, Pak Gifari. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Jack?
Sure, thank you. So I was actually watching Star Wars last night, and I think, we can look at AI in a similar format. So obviously, there is AI is the force. There is a lot of potential for good and benefit for the Indonesian society. But of course, to the force, there is the dark side, okay? And that dark side is that people may gain an unfair advantage, but we have to set up means and mechanisms to ensure that no one games the system unfairly. And we work together to ensure, the increased development of the Indonesian academic system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Professor Wisdom.
Yes. Thank you, especially for the committee to invite us. So it's become very, very interesting discussion. Maybe my last maybe sentence or opinion is this is very common, pro and contra in our daily life or our society. But the problem is, can we control about we call the dark side, as Mr. Jack mentioned, the dark side of technology is already happened. But the important thing we can control and manage and give some the regulation so that maybe it's become powerful. So don't avoid the AI. Please use the AI with very maybe elegant way. This is the point. Okay, thank you, Pak Antares, and thank you for the every audience. Maybe please explore more about the AI. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. And before we end this forum, I would like to tell you some information. First, please fill out the online feedback form no later than 30 minutes after the webinar is over. And e-certificate will be sent to the participants who have registered, attended webinars, and filled out the feedback forms. And the third is participants can download the speaker's presentations material through a link that will be provided by the KSF UT 2023 committee. And again, we thank you very much to all the speakers and participants who have attended this webinar. Good afternoon and see you again in the next KSF event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you,
Mr. Jack, Mr. Givari, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.